Back in business, 2024 property predictions. We're going to tell you in 5-10 minutes what we see for the year ahead with property prices and the current state of the market. Stay tuned.
Hey, Billy, how are you? Good to join you. It's not often that you and I end up on the big screen together.
Quite often it's Big Glenn on the big screen.
Yes, it is. I'm expecting a spike in viewership just tonight with that as well. But Billy, 2024, it's upon us. And always at this time of year, everyone's like, what's going on in the real estate game? What's 2024 going to look like for me? Where am I going to make some money?
Yeah.
Where should I be putting my money? So look, we by no means have got a crystal ball, but we do have a little bit of experience. So let's talk about where the market is at the moment and then where we think it might be going this year or what the murmurs are of where it's heading. Billy, how's the market looking today if you were to take a snapshot?
Well, 2023 went by so quickly. People didn't, I think, realize the turnaround in the market. Prices wise, houses did lead the race over units just a tad. There was a national increase of about 5.6% capital growth for houses, 5% for units. The overall consensus right now, buyer sentiment's quite strong. Stock levels are very low, almost at a record low since the beginning of 2023.
Yeah.
So that's not changed moving into a new year. We do anticipate there's going to be a little bit more stock coming in over the next 2 or 3 weeks. But even if we consider the current stock levels and where the new stock might land us, even if we had like an avalanche of stock where it doubled, it still wouldn't get us back to where it peaked mid-year. So right now, properties are moving. Anything coming to market is selling, and the sales that are being put together quite often are the essential sales, people that are moving to move into another place, people that are selling to move into another place.
And you see, Billy, from the
Positive.
advertised price to the sales price, a big variation in to what the property's advertised for and where it eventually ends up selling.
It's still very much up to a 10% travel on the price guide. So as an agent, quite often there can be a 10% range or an opinion of value. From the beginning, the sale prices are often mirroring that range. So I think as a buyer, if you're navigating the current market as well, if you're seeing a price guide online at $1 million, chances are it'll fall between 1 and 1.1 million.
Yeah, that's good. That's good feedback, Billy, for sure. And I'd like to say that I think if you are a buyer in the marketplace, it's a very good buying window right now. I think the next, probably 3 to 6 months will represent good buying. I think last year there was a lot of opportunity in the marketplace, but buyers concerned with what they were seeing and reading in the media kind of held them back a little bit. But I think there's a good buying window now. So anything else you wanted to add, Billy? Because I'll jump into where I think it's going to go. Or
take us on a journey, Steph.
So again, not that I know Billy's put with property wizards. We don't have a crystal ball. It'd be good to have one. But look, it was quite interesting to see all the main banks that have come out, and they're all talking about pretty strong year this year in real estate. What I believe will happen, I don't know, Billy, if you can throw that slide up, and I've got some figures. I don't know if they mirror your slide, but let's have a quick look. So interestingly enough, an article just came out with the big 4 banks, and they're talking about where they forecast property prices to be. ANZ saying, a 6% lift across all capital cities. They're looking at 9 to 10% increase for Brisbane, 7 to 8 for Perth, Sydney to see a 6 to 7% increase in pricing, and Melbourne 3 to 4%. That's ANZ. CBA similar, 5% nationally. Let's stick with the Sydney market, 4% increase they're predicting for Sydney. NAB, they're predicting a 5.4% increase nationally. That translates to a 5% increase for Sydney, to what they're looking at. And Westpac, the 4th main bank, 6% nationally, but they're talking Sydney at around a 6% increase. So all the major banks talking pretty strong figures and positive figures in regards to the property market. There's a few other factors behind not only the big banks, I think, talking in this manner, but we've also got to look at what the government incentives are right now. There's good incentives for first home buyers with stamp duty. there's also the government incentive where they can come in with you for a share of the property to help you get into your first home.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
a shared
So
equity scheme.
yeah, and that with obviously there's big increase of immigration, which has been discussed towards the end of last year. I think will drive property prices. What do I see for the year ahead? The RBA has also changed. If you haven't heard, generally they meet around 11 times throughout the year. For 2024, they are going to be getting together only 8 times. So it'll be interesting to see where we might have gaps of 2 months before we're speaking to the RBA again. Just how they come back to the market. And I think that'll dictate pricing and confidence in the marketplace. What I was going to say, and this is what I believe is going to happen, I think the next kind of 3 to 6 months, the market may see a rate rise, maybe 2, I don't know. But I think the buying value right now in the major cities, and particularly Sydney, is right now. I think it's now through to June, July. Everyone that I'm talking to and all the reports I've been reading is the kind of Q3 and late Q3 and Q4 of this year. So we're talking kind of September through to December, end of this year, is where the banks are forecasting reductions in the in the rates. And generally, what I've seen across my numerous years in real estate is our market's driven by access to money. So if the rates start coming down, your prices generally start jumping back up.
Yeah, it is really interesting. So you touched on a couple of good points there. What I'm hovering over at the moment on our shared screen is the 2023 price growth nationally and broken down to each capital city.
Wow.
What you see in the darker color, black or gray, however your eyes see it, is the 2023 figures. Amazing to see.
I mean, look at the numbers.
The turnaround. Yeah. You know, in the western part of Australia, Perth, 12.3%. Unbelievable. This has come from RP data, and what's in red is, you know, the year ahead between 12 and 5%. Pretty much mirrors what STEVAN just said there. Forecasts from the big 4 banks. Realestate.com did an article touching on immigration. 2023 was record pace. 2024 not quite as strong, but certainly still moving in a very, very strong direction. That's only going to see more competition.
Yeah, I'm blown away by even some of those figures. I didn't think they were that strong. Like, look at Sydney, an 8.3% increase in pricing. Brisbane 8.9, Melbourne 1.9. I thought Melbourne probably would have performed better. Perth, I'm hearing a lot of big things about for this year, but 12.3%, increase in pricing over 2023. That's huge,
massive.
And then Adelaide 9.2. That's big as well.
I've got one more for you, Steph.
Go far away.
Let me show you this.
So what is that, Billy?
So this is just giving you a bit of context about who's buying property and what they're doing with their money. I'm going to see if I can get rid of that that little thing covering it. There we go. Let's get rid of that. So buyers are buying property with bigger deposits, therefore less impacted by the change in rates. Now, you're going to find if rates start to stabilize or come off, it's only going to add fuel to the fire here. But new lending shares below 60% LVR, you can start to get a bit of context here that buyers tending to, as of 2021, put bigger deposits down. And as you can see, moving into 2023, 24, there's been a spike, not only in owner occupiers, but also investors back into the market.
Yeah, right. And I think also investors, look, I think as rates come down, investors will surge back into the marketplace. Obviously saw an increase in rental activity and rental prices over the last 12 to 18 month period. So that's definitely added to the appeal of investors. And then also, if we do see, like I said, a reduction in rates, that'll definitely fuel investors. If you're a tenant right now, what does that mean? I don't think a lot's going to change, unfortunately, on the tenancy side. It's generally driven by the availability of property. So unless you've got major redevelopment going on or an increase of dwellings in the area, you're probably going to be seeing a similar marketplace to what we're seeing right now throughout 2024.
Yeah,
I would think.
And if you're a buyer right now?
I think if you're a buyer right now, get out and buy, because that latter part of this year, I think you're going to see prices surge. Good buying out there. And look, people always say, when's the right time to buy? It's when you're ready to buy. When's the right time to sell? When you're ready to sell.
Yeah, I think it's all relative. If you're actually on the market right now, you are performing better in terms of analytics. The numbers are off the charts at the moment, off the back of Christmas and New Year's. We've seen people have time to look at property. Open home numbers have been really good. So you're selling in isolation, not in competition at the moment. Would I hold out until the later part of the year? Necessarily, no. I think, obviously there will be more stock trickling back in. I'd take advantage of the limited stock if it worked for my situation right now, and it's all relative. You buy and sell for the same
market conditions.
If your situation works where you can make a move now, it's a really good time to do so. And overall, it's quite prosperous.
Yep. That's about it for tonight, guys. Only a very, very quick one, but thanks for joining Billy and I here Monday night. And again, like always, any questions property related, you don't have to be Sydney or the beaches. Novak Properties love to help you guys. Anytime, 24/7.
Have a good evening. That's the darts.
There you go. Oh, Billy, look at that. Bang. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Have a good evening.